Hello, my name is Sieara McLeod, and this is Leah Schick. And Leah, I would like you to tell me about yourself and your music career so far.
I've been involved with music from a very young age. I started violin lessons when I was 5, classical voice lessons when I was 6, and piano lessons when I was 8. I've had a lot of people in my life who have encouraged me to work really hard with music and succeed with that. So I put in a lot of time and effort all the way from when I was young till now. And because of that, I've been the concertmaster, just the top position of all my school orchestras, and I've also been the concertmaster of the Montgomery County Youth Orchestra for the past 3 years. I've also done a bunch of charitable performances. I've sung the national anthem on the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum for 3 years in a row at the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation Annual Walk, and I've also performed for a few events at the for the Mothers Against Drunk Driving organization. I've also been chosen to participate in the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association District Orchestra for 2 years. It was about 3 years ago where I really started to go into the teaching aspect of music. I started and still am teaching private violin lessons to children around ages 6 to 14 at the Music Training Center. And it was also around that time where I founded and began teaching a choir at the Spring Mill Presbyterian Village Assisted Living Home.
Oh, wow. All right. So what motivated you to become a director of the choir for the senior citizens at the Spring Mill Presbyterian Village?
With my school groups, my school honors orchestra and honors chorus, we've gone a bunch of times to perform for several nursing homes and assisted living homes, including Presby's Inspired Life. I think it was, when we were performing, I always noticed how the elderly people in the audience not only love listening and enjoy listening, but a lot of times they would actually sing or hum along to more popular songs or songs they might have heard before. And it made me think, I love listening to music, but for me personally, I love performing music. I love singing and playing with other musicians, and I thought, a lot of them probably have been in choirs when they were younger and in school and everything, and why not give them that chance? So why not give them the opportunity to not only hear music, but to be able to perform music with other people? So I taught myself to conduct, and I contacted the activities coordinator at Presby's Inspired Life, and I proposed to her that we would set up a choir made up of the singers being the elderly residents at the home. And from that, we grew from the first day, only about 5 people being willing enough to sing for me, to now about a quarter of the residents involved.
Wow, that's impressive. Very impressive.
I think that music can have a special connection with people at any age. Working with the people at Presby's, I think that one of the most fascinating things I've seen is, yes, unfortunately, a lot of them do have dementia, as most of them are in their 80s and 90s, and unfortunately, because of that, a bunch of them, they come in, some of them can't remember their names, they don't remember what room number they're in, and a lot of them, they might have been part of the choir for years and they don't even remember that they've been there before. But the fascinating part is, as soon as they sit down and as soon as we start rehearsal, so as soon as we start singing, they remember every word, they remember every melody, they remember how every song sounds. And not only that, I think this next part having to do with, the repetition of every week working on their technique, but they remember, I see them, sitting up straight, holding their music up like I tell them to. They remember what I tell them about taking big breaths, and they remember, when I go like this, that means to stop singing. And I think it's really amazing. There's something about music where, they might forget things, but the music always sticks with them. And with that being said, I think it's also important to mention that even those who don't have dementia or don't have that much of it can also definitely benefit from music and have therapeutic values with that. I think being part of a choir really builds their confidence level, because they're really part of something, and they'll walk around being like, oh, I'm in the choir, I'm part of the choir, and they put on these big performances, and it really shows, they work towards something, and they're able to show that, and they're able to accomplish things. it also has a great social value. I'll notice that throughout the years of me teaching the choir, a lot of times they'll start talking to each other, and they've made friends in the choir that they might not have known before. And I'll walk in before choir even starts, and all the choir people are sitting together. And overall, I think just having such a fun activity, even for me and even for them, just singing with people just makes everyone happy.
What is it about music that you think spans the generations and connects young with old, and allows you to bring a group of aging men and women together so they can forget the things any troubles or anything like that, and enjoy their music experience?
Like I said before, I feel like music has a big connection with people, and whether that's lyrics of a song or the melodies of a song, I think music can mean a lot to people. Between songs that maybe like the message in the song directly relates to them, or also the songs might remind them of a past memory. And I know for me and for anyone at any age enjoys making music and singing and creating music with other people, and I think that is very enjoyable for them. Personally, when I perform in my school choirs, other choirs that I'm a part of, I think it's very fulfilling for me, when we do the performances and we say, we accomplished this, we put on a great performance, we put on a great sound. Mm-hmm. And that, like I said before, when I first started it, that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to give them the opportunity to have that same feeling. And when I first started, only a few people would sing, and a lot of times, when we first started, they're like, "Oh, we sound bad. We don't sound good. We haven't sung in so long." And we go from there till now, almost a quarter of the residents in the entire facility singing with us. Right. And at the end, in our rehearsals, at the end of almost every song, they cheer for each other. They cheer for themselves because they know that they've improved. And a few things that they've said to me over the years have stood out. For example, there's this one woman, she started out with us my first rehearsal, and she's still singing with us today. She comes every week. She was one of the people the first day that said, "Oh, we don't sound good at all." After a few months, she started saying, "Wow, we're actually sounding better. We're actually improving." And now she's so proud to be part of the choir. And another thing was, our last concert, we had this big concert, and there was one woman, she's 94 years old, it was her first concert singing with us, and she said at the end of the concert, "I don't remember the last time someone clapped for me." Wow. And I think that's something to really say, because you see a lot of high school choirs, you see a lot of choirs with younger people, but you don't see a lot of choirs with 80-year-olds and 90-year-olds, and giving them the opportunity to show, yes, we know you're older, but you still have the ability to learn, and you have the ability to learn new skills and be a part of something. I think that just really brings a joy to them. They watch other people perform so many times, now they are the stars, and we have these huge performances at the end of each season where they sing everything that we've been working on for all their family comes to watch, their friends, a bunch of the other residents at the facility, and the staff, and that's where they get to show what they've been working on, and they're proud of themselves, everyone's proud of them. Mm-hmm. And I think whether you're 17 or 90 years old, having that feeling of being a part of something and being able to accomplish something and be proud of yourself, I think that's a feeling that everyone can appreciate.
Make me want to join the choir. I know that much. What has this experience of putting the choir together and being so successful done mm-hmm. for you as an individual and a musician? And I know you touched on some of that so far, but could you give any more comments?
Yeah. Like I said, I've always been a part of music. I love music my entire life, and I always knew that it was going to be very important to me. But I feel like around the time where I started teaching this choir is kind of where I realized, I know I'm going to go into music education. I know this is what I love, and this is what I'm good at, and this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I just felt lucky, even as a high schooler, being able to use something that I've worked on my whole life and focused on and become good at, and something I'm really passionate about, to impact other people, whether it's giving them skills and even just making them happy. And I think that's where I realized this is what I want to do with my life. And besides that, this choir at the nursing home was one of the first, group of musicians that I've taught ever. So I think it's nice, before even going into college and being trained on music education, to have this experience. Because yes, they might not be the stereotypical high school choir, but every choir is a little different, and what you have to do, I believe, with every music group that you teach is you have to try everything, see what works, see what's most effective. And I feel like with them, over the years, I've tried a bunch of different exercises, I've tried telling them a bunch of different techniques, picking songs that work for them, and I feel like getting that experience of trying to figure out how am I going to optimize their success is really experience that I'm going to be able to use for the rest of my life.
Have you ever experienced any, let's say, challenges with, the residents, especially because of their age? And
yeah. With the song selection, I think that's one thing. I think it's easier for them, and this is kind of what I'm doing now. I try to pick songs that they have learned and songs that they've probably heard before in the past, like older Broadway songs, the old artists like Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, and traditional American songs. And I think that is important, because that's something, like I said, they've probably heard those songs a million times and even long ago, but they still remember them. And I feel like at this point in their age, you have to pick songs that work for them. And also another thing I've tried to do with the song selection is you really need to pick upbeat songs that they're going to have fun with, because one thing I've noticed, if I pick a song that's really fun for them, they get really into it and they sound so much better. I do think, though, I do recognize when I'm teaching them, almost everything that I'm teaching them are things that I've taken from other music professionals, such as my own private teachers, my school teachers, my community orchestra teacher. I think anyone who has been your mentor has given you tools which I'll take now and pass on to them. So I think that everything that I've learned from my life, whether it's from a voice teacher, piano teacher, violin teacher, a choral director, orchestra director, those are the tools that I'm passing on, and those are the things that I'm using to make them better. And like I said, yes, they're not a high school choir, but a lot of the same techniques and tools you will use with a high school choir are the same things that I'll be teaching the residents at the home.
All right. And, my final question is, what is next for you?
So like I said, I'm going to be going to college this fall. I'm going to music education and possibly also music performance, and I'm just really excited to get more knowledge with that and more experience, and just to continue teaching music, because that really is what I love. And then during that, I'm going to, of course, still try to teach all my violin students, because I love doing that, and I'm going to stay with the Presby singers choir. Mm-hmm. And also, after working with them for a while, and I feel like I finally developed a system of what works and how to make this most enjoyable for them. I have kind of gotten this long-term vision to reach out to other homes and find other young people and train them and kind of set up the same thing that I have. And I've already started to reach out to other nursing homes in the area, and I just think this choir has made a huge impact in both my life and all the residents there, and the residents' families. And I think if I could in the future start to get that going at multiple places, I think that would mean a lot to a lot of people.
I think that is a great idea.
Yeah.
Expanding it and everything. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank you for,
of course, thank you so much,
interviewing us today. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot myself.
Yes.
I'm very inspired. So
good.
Yes.